Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Happy
update
from the Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got you for the next 30 minutes or so, and we have a fantastic show for the people. Just be sure to comment along. YouTube.com/the Romanellas. Head to YouTube.com/the Romanellas. Hit that subscribe button. Support people. Whatever you'd like, just go ahead, hit subscribe. We got our 65th last night. I told you we're on the trek for 100, so that anyone that can help us there, we appreciate you. Twitter X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1. That's Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show, then the number 1. Facebook.com/The Rome Show. Meg, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. We appreciate you. You want to comment like Meg, you head to YouTube, head to Twitter X, or head to Instagram. We are live on all three, and you can comment on all three. The 76ers, they fire their vice president of basketball operations. The Spurs crushed the Wolves last night. Sabres get a gigantic win. The Cavs and the Pistons get ready for Game 5 tonight, and so do the Avs and the Wild. Major League Baseball and the MLBPA met regarding their ending of a CBA in December this year, and it was the first steps towards that process, hoping for no lockouts coming this winter. Baseball in the best place it's been in a decade. But that's not where we start today's show. Oh, no. Where we start today's show is with a little bit of what grinds my gears. A little segment started on Family Guy some 5 to 10 years ago by the one Peter Griffin, adapted by The Rome Show on YouTube.com/the Romanellas, or Twitter X. Oh, that's not it. Or Twitter X. Okay. And Instagram, The Rome Show 1. You know what really grinds my gears, people? What really grinds my gears is human beings that spend time on social media just to spew negativity and hate towards other people doing things on social media. Like, it blows my mind to be somebody that produces nothing, that does nothing, that doesn't put any content out there, where that content's watched by 0 people or that content is watched by 1 million people. It blows my mind that there are people on social media that don't use social media for what that purpose is, which is posting videos and photos and other things that you'd like to get out to show the world. No, they house the social media account just so they can be commenting on people's videos all over the place. I had so much fun last night on my most recent post on Reels everywhere. We put it on the Instagram Reel, the YouTube Reel, Shorts, or whatever. Dude, whatever. About Bryson DeChambeau and his comments about what he wants to do if Live ends. And I got hammered. And I love it. Okay? I love it. Because I've been doing this show for 7 years. Okay? I've been doing this show as a podcast for 7 years. And I can promise you, I have posted a lot of content that nobody has listened to. I can promise you that. Okay? And you don't do something for 7 years with zero financial gain and zero get back. Like, I don't do the Rome show right now, and then 2.5 hours later, bank account feels great. I don't do the Rome show right now and look and go, woo, 1 million people are watching. This is awesome. No, it's actually the opposite. But that is merely the vehicle for the example, because it's not necessarily about the Rome show haters as it is just all of those people. You're, pardon my language, a loser if you spend your time on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter X and you don't put out content, but yet you spend your time not just disagreeing. Like, it's one thing to disagree. I'm not going to lie to you, Andrew. I think that Bryson DeChambeau is great. Or I think that this is a wrong take. I think this is a better move for the New York Football Giants. It's one thing to have a go back and forth, like Meg and myself on Sidney Crosby, a go back and forth on a disagreement over sports topics or fashion topics or whatever the topic is. But it's another thing to just go right to the well of, you're terrible, you're a loser, call you names. Some guy called me a Muppet. Never heard that one before. I was trying to figure out which direction he was going with that, but that was a good one. And then when I commented back, I don't know if he expected me to comment back. I said, I love comments like these. Why don't we just keep it moving? He then deleted the comment. Okay. So I'm confused here. What's your purpose in life? Did you create the YouTube account because you're too afraid to put the content out yourself? So you'll go to the people that don't have the millions of views and go, sweet, man, 4 comments and 4 likes. Hopefully you're going to make a lot of money off of this. It's like, what? Yeah, that's awesome, man. Actually, thank you. Because I was never trying to make a boatload of money off of this. Hence the decade I've put into it, not making a boatload of money. Because it's just fun. But I'm not going to describe that to you. I'm actually going to thank you because you gave me some views, you gave me some likes, and you gave me some comments. That's awesome. So you're doing the exact opposite thing. Instead of putting me down and hurting me, you're actually helping me by spending your time trying to put other people down. In this example, you've helped me. So if you'd like to come watch every video, hit that like button. And then make a comment about how I'm dumb, feel free. Because I'll take that comment, I'll take that like, and I'll take that view every single time. But if that's what you want to be in life, if that's what you're setting out to do, if that's what comes to mind, when you see a video on social media of someone putting themselves out there, I don't care what it is. Follow my beautiful fiance, Juliana Moves. Awesome stuff. It doesn't matter what the content is. If someone puts out something and your first reaction is, I want to tell them they're a loser, or I think this person's stupid, and I want to tell them that, you're the problem. You're the problem. The only difference is 2 things. We have enough gumption to put the video out there and not care that people are going to hate it. You don't have that, clearly. And secondly, we're just like semi-decent humans. Maybe that's the problem with the world. That's like right there. If a sports video can come out and make you want to tell somebody that they're a complete clown and eviscerate them, then we should probably look in the mirror. And yeah, you have the right to say whatever you want. That's awesome, dude. I'm just saying that's a tough world to live in if you wake up every day and that's fun to you. So you know what really grinds my gears? Loser people on social media who don't have enough confidence in themselves to actually put the videos out there or do anything at all. But they'll spend their time behind their picture that's not even their face and make these negative comments. That's what really grinds my gears. But like I said, thank you. Thank you for the view. Thank you for the like. And thank you for the comment. Meg writes in that she follows Juliana. Yes, she is awesome. And that is great. Because the more she's the one, people. Okay. I'm merely here just talking on the microphone. But my fiance, she's the one. Like, if we're gonna make it big, it's her star. If we're gonna do anything special, it's gonna be her. I am merely spending my time in this relationship trying not to mess up how great she is. All right. But for me, it's like, if you're going to give us a follow, give it to the Romanellas, then to Juliana Moves, and then there's Coach Romo over here in the corner. But Meg, I appreciate that. I try and bring the people a little bit of the good stuff here from the back end of the Rome show. And I would say Juliana Moves. That's just it. Just go type it in. Go type it in. And by the way, we put some of the stuff up on the Romanellas on YouTube as well. Try some of that ish. I'll tell you what, you'll break a leg. Don't know how it's even possible. All right, let's get into the sports of the show. The Major League Baseball Players Association and Major League Baseball, they met yesterday for the first time. And let's give you just a slight update on what's going on. And here is why I think this is the most important contract negotiation, CBA negotiation in the history of the league, because you have revived this sport over the last decade better than it has been in a really long time. Between the ABS system and the pitch clock and the change of the bases and anything else that has gone into improving the game of baseball, baseball has done just that. So right now, the viewership numbers are proving it. If you just have an eye test on it, it's proving it. But Major League Baseball cannot afford a moment of a lockout at the end of this season. Because I do truly believe you might not lose all of the traction, but you will lose some of the traction. That is for dang sure. And so the MLBPA, who's in a mess in its own right, if you remember, and if you missed it, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, we talked about it a few months ago. Tony Clark resigned after some crazy story about like an affair with his sister-in-law, and then two more were relieved of their duties about a month ago because of a further investigation into that story. So the MLBPA in its own right is a little bit of a mess. And the MLB owners are on the same page. They want a salary cap. Okay? You have $417 million luxury tax bill for the Dodgers and like an $82 million tax bill for the Marlins. The separation there is very big. So yesterday, the two sides come together. They start the proposal. There's not going to be a CBA negotiated on day one of any of this stuff. And how deep this CBA negotiation is about to go, I don't expect it to get done until the 11th hour, which is the worst part, right? You know, you're sitting here on May 13th going, okay, we know we're not going to know about Major League Baseball season in 2027 until November, the earliest. We know that. Like, it's going to happen because the fact that there is no salary cap in this sport, and now there's about to be a negotiation on whether or not there needs to be a salary cap in this sport, that is going to be a very difficult and potentially damning discussion. And we've already heard stories about Bryce Harper is telling people to get out of the locker room if they want to bring those types of conversations in here. And it's just crazy for me to think And I get why players wouldn't want a salary cap based on the fact that Juan Soto's making $700 million. And then the next person to his right could also make $700 million. And technically, any team can pay any player as much as they want as long as they're willing to deal with the luxury tax on the back end. That maximizes the money players can make. I get why players wouldn't want a salary cap. I understand that. Makes plenty of sense to me. But I also understand where the longevity of the league, the competition, and where the owners sit, it's very hard to see a future where there is no salary cap. I mean, you're talking the same thing as the National Football League, National Hockey League, and National Basketball Association. And you see that can provide more opportunity for parity. I do think when it comes to professional sports, there's just sometimes nothing you can do. Like, we can try and stop tanking all we want, but teams are still going to find a way. Teams are still going to see what they need to see, make decisions they believe they need to make to better position their franchise. And they don't care what the vantage point on you, the fan, is, or you, the league, is, even in some scenarios. So you can do whatever you want to try and create parity and competition, but there's still going to be really bad teams. And there's still always going to be really, really good teams, because that's the human nature of it. Because you have to still build the team and make the draft picks and develop the players and run the organization to a championship quality level. So if you can't do that, obviously you're still going to be one of the worst teams. But the salary cap really does allow you to neutralize those small market teams like the Kansas City Royals, the Cleveland Guardians, the Miami Marlins, though I still don't understand how they are that way when in theory, like, they're in Miami, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into that. Nonetheless, CBA negotiations going to be long and drawn out for Major League Baseball this year. We just got to hope. We just have to hope they get it done before December 1st. I'm going to get this done real quick, and then we come back and we talk playoff sports and firings in the NBA. It's the commercial break here on The Rome Show. We're back in a minute and a half. Stay with us.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back into the Rome Show. Andrew Romanella here. Got you for another 10 minutes. YouTube.com/The Romanellas. You missed any part of the show, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you to those that do support. I do understand if for 7 years, 0 people listened to me, I probably wouldn't be behind the microphone. So that does make sense. I am, to a degree, trying to get listeners, obviously. But I think people that know the Rome Show and know Andrew Romanella know that he probably would talk to this microphone every single day for 30 to 40 minutes without a listener, which is the best part. Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, The Rome Show 1, YouTube.com/The Romanellas. Hit the subscribe button, hit follow wherever you are. The Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcast. Meg writes in, do you think the MLBPA negotiations will be done by December 1st? That'd make a great 50th birthday gift. Meg, here's the deal. I want to believe that the negotiations can be done. Okay. And I want to believe they will be done. But I have this feeling that unfortunately they will not. And I don't believe we're missing any games next year. Okay. Because I as much as I want to believe the players want to put their feet in the ground and the owners want to put their feet in the ground, I just don't think either party is truly going to be okay with missing games. Okay. So now, do I think by the time the thing fully ends at the end of the year, it's done? January 1st, 2027, we're looking at a new CBA and we're starting spring training on time? No, I don't. Do I think, though, that we can get to spring training on time, but it might look a little weird and be a little nerve-wracking? Yeah, that's the scenario, I think. I don't think we're getting this thing done early, but I don't think it's getting done in the late hour where we miss games. But I do think there's going to be some sweat, and each side is going to have to compromise on something. Now, Meg, I'm not deep enough in this, and I got to read more, and I've been trying to read a little bit here and there and try and figure out what's going on. Obviously, if you listen to yesterday's show, we were busy trying to win a championship. So the last few weeks have really been focused on Centenary University baseball. Nonetheless, as I get deeper into it, I will get you a better feel. But right now, if I had to put a poly market guess on it or a Kalashi or whatever the hell it's called guess on it, I would say January 21st. Yep. January 21st. Yep. That's going to be my line for when this thing gets done. All right, let's run through it, people. It is time for your NHL and MLB playoff updates. Let's start in the National Basketball Association because actually this is not even, well, they were a playoff team, but they got swept the other day, and now the 76ers have decided to fire President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey after 6 seasons. During Daryl Morey's time with the 76ers, the team was 270 and 212. They made the playoffs 5 times, but never made it past the second round. I would argue Daryl Morey's time with the 76ers has been mirrored with terrible trades and terrible contracts, bringing James Harden in for a half a year, then getting him the hell out of there, then bringing Paul George in, signing him to a lucrative deal. He gets suspended. Really not that good. Re-signs Joel Embiid to a long-term deal. He's barely healthy every single year. Tyrese Maxey, great. VJ Edgecombe, great, but that is not enough to keep your job, especially after the lack of success in the postseason. Daryl Morey out. Nick Nurse, though, will stay as the head coach. Last night, the San Antonio Spurs looked, for the first time, at least in my opinion, which, according to Edward on YouTube, really doesn't matter. However, according to my opinion, that's the best they've looked point blank, period, this playoffs. A 126-97 victory over the Timberwolves. The Spurs, Wemby, double-double, 27 points, 17 rebounds. Keldon Johnson off the bench for San Antonio, 21 points. The Spurs bench outscored the Timberwolves bench 44-23. That's a 19-point swing for those counting at home in a game where the Spurs won by 29. The bench, the major difference. Game 6. Whoa, Andrew. Of that series going to be tomorrow night. It is a 3-2. There we go. Series lead for the San Antonio Spurs. And tonight we have game 5 of the Cavaliers versus the Pistons. Pistons are going to be favored in this contest by 3.5. Oh, since the show started, that got pushed to 4.5. Pistons are favored at home. Home teams are undefeated in this series, with the Pistons winning the first 2 in Detroit and the Cavs winning the second 2 in Cleveland. What is the old adage? The series never really starts until the home team loses. That could be true, I guess, because technically if no home team loses and the series is over, and the Detroit Pistons would be headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Pistons win tonight, and I was going to take them at the 3.5. 4.5 intrigues me a little bit differently. If this thing gets pushed to 5, then I'm going to swing it to the Cavs at the +5 or 5.5. But right now, I'd still err on the side of the Pistons, and at home where they play significantly better. The Cavs bench is going to have to show up outside of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, who's starting to find his playoff groove, which I find pretty cool. Those are the last two series we have. The winner of Spurs versus Timberwolves takes on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and the winner of the Cavs versus the Pistons takes on the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the National Hockey League, the Buffalo Sabres stayed alive last night with a 3-2 victory over the Canadiens. What a game. This series has been fantastic. Rocky's going to come on the show tomorrow to talk a little bit more hockey. But Zach Benson with the game winner midway through the third to break 2-2 tie. Great player there, that Zach Benson is. And a 2-2 tied series headed back to Buffalo for Game 5. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, just wanted to say his name. 30 shots against, 28 saves for the Buffalo Sabres. Jacob Dose, 22 shots, 19 saves. The Avs, Game 5 versus the Minnesota Wild tonight. See if they can take it to Minnesota and head back to the Western Conference Finals since 2022. And the Vegas Golden Knights OT winner. That's right, Pavel Dorofeyev. I'll have Rocky pronounce that for me. He's our resident get those weird hockey names guy right. He's got 2 goals last night, including the OT winner. Golden Knights, they take a 3-2 series lead at home, and they will head back to Anaheim for Game 6. This has been a cool series. Back and forth victories the entire time. Probably the tightest series we have going in any of the 2 professional sports playoffs. There's your update on the ice and on the hardwood. I am looking at it as a Thunder versus Spurs, Detroit Pistons versus Knicks, Eastern Conference, Western Conference Final in the National Basketball Association. And then I am looking at the Hurricanes versus the Canadiens. Though I want the Sabres to be there, and I want to believe the Sabres are going to be there, they've showed a few things in this series that just make me believe that the Canadiens can, over 7 games, find a way to win, especially over 3, win 2 out of 3. So that's what I would have on the Eastern Conference side, though. I think the Canes are a serious wagon. And then not just because they won last night, been saying this to anyone that would listen, Golden Knights and the Avalanche. I think it's a crash course, Avalanche versus Canes, though. I don't see who's good enough to beat either of those 2 teams. Now, does the long rest for the Canes affect them? I have no idea. We'll find out when the next round gets started. Is it good that the Avalanche may have lost one, potentially? Kind of woke them up a little bit differently, maybe. However, 7-1 and 8-0 currently in the postseason are those 2 teams. Quack, quack, quack. Meg, I love it. Fun fact before I get out of here today, did you know that I was a member of the Anaheim Junior Ducks? I was a Duck for 2 years, and boy, was that a fun time. Hope you had a fun time today. I'll see all the haters on the YouTube comments later. The non-haters like Meg, I appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:10, 7:15, maybe 7:30, depends on how we're feeling, with our resident hockey expert, Rocky Romanella, to help get us right for the remainder of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm Andrew Romanella. You have an electric update, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for listening.